morning, everybody. How are you? The devilishly handsome Ian Dixon. Good morning, sir.
Shut up, for fuck's sake. Jesus.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm serving you vintage vibes today. How are you? Welcome to the show, Rise Up Show. It's been a funny all week this week. I have been up and down the country like a bride's nightie, and this morning I look like I'm wearing a nightie. I'm not. What I am doing is I am wearing a dress that I bought off of the New Look, which simple pleasures for simple minds, you lot. But on my goal list. Is it a goal to go and shop at a store? I'm going to own it, right? But when I was growing up, New Look was where I would go and spend my wages when, much like people do with like ASOS and Boohoo now. But New Look was where I would go and spend my wages when I'd been working, right? So on a Thursday or a Friday, I would nip into the New Look. I'd go and get an outfit for like the weekend or the Friday or the Saturday night, because I used to go out quite a bit. And after a while, after I had children, I started to put on weight. The sizes and the styles really in that particular shop, they didn't fit me. They didn't look right on me. It was of a time, I guess, where plus size clothes were just straight sized clothes made bigger, so they weren't made to look nice on bigger bodies, if that makes sense. So it would be disproportionate. It would just be like inches bigger, right? So I stopped shopping at New Look. And when I did one of my very first vision boards, and this is only maybe 4 or 5 years ago, like my first proper vision board, sticking like pictures onto this like virtual vision board, and there were a few things on there, and one of them was just the logo New Look. And it wasn't to, like, the goal for me wasn't, hang on a minute, I've got an issue with some errant hair. So the goal for me wasn't to ever be skinny. That wasn't I'd never wanted that, and I've made that quite clear to everybody. But it was to be able to go into straight sized stores and go and pick up whatever I wanted off of the rails. Because before I'd kind of reconciled myself and understood more about body acceptance and things like that, it was like a proper goal for me. Like, I was really sad that I couldn't go into New Look and go and fit in any of the clothes anymore. It was really sad that I had to do the majority of my shopping online because the in real life shops did not service my style. And you know, your girl's a stylish girl, you know. And so it was on me. It was on my vision board, just the logo, New Look. So I could go into New Look and not a pair of shoes or accessories. We'd go in and go and buy something and come back out again. And I did. And I bought myself a very pretty dress. So yeah, it's like they call them non-scale victories, because as many of you know, I haven't or don't really share the scale victories, because the victories, I'm not in a fight with the weighing scale. I'm not in a fight with anything. I am, when it comes to weight loss or when it comes to getting healthier. And remember that my journey is about becoming healthier and not weight loss. I'm not looking at the scale. I have to weigh myself for the doctors so that they've got a sort of a measuring tool of where I'm at. But for me, it's not something that I actively share. It's not something that I talk about very often. But I felt like, I feel, even though before I felt beautiful, it was very nice. It was a nice win for me today to be able to go into, not today, this week, to go into the New Look and go give them a check. So I'm celebrating it. Hello, everybody. What are you celebrating today? So let me know in the comments. So the premise of the show at Rise Up Show is this. On a Monday, we show up, set our intentions for the week. On a Wednesday, we do some learning. Now, this week's been a bit skew-whiffy, hasn't it? Because I've been all over the bloody country. I am currently in Swindon in an Airbnb with 3 incredible human beings. and we are putting ourselves through our paces with Tony Robbins Wealth Mastery. So it's 4 days focus on money mindset, the technicalities of money. When you have money, what do you do with money? What are your money stories? So really like deep diving into some of that. And it's already been super emotional, and I've learned loads already. And also the people that I'm with, so the majority of you will know Dr. Claire Burley, who is a member of the IATQB Hive, and we're great friends. So I'm here with her, and I'm here with her sister, who is amazing, and also a lady called Katie, who's phenomenal. I will introduce them all to you over the course of the weekend. But we came here yesterday, so we did a full day yesterday. I had to tap out. Like, these are long days that T Rob does, really, really long days. So we started. So I started the morning over in a hotel, and I was doing like one-to-ones and things like that to take me up to 12 o'clock. Then we came over to the Airbnb for 1. And then at 1:30, the event started. And then we were still going at about 11:15 last night. I think it carried on till about 2. He does really, really long days. It's interesting how the methods that they use. And however you look at it, there's a lot of psychology that's involved. There's a lot of breakthroughs that happen. And yes, they want to sell you on to the next thing, but hey, they've got a business plan that they've got to build with him, right? And we were saying this last night, that just because you've got something that you can graduate onto doesn't mean that you're like money grabbing, or that's a bad thing. If people have had a great experience working with you at a certain level, why don't you offer them something at that next level, that deeper level, that ongoing level? That's all part of the customer journey, right? So we were talking about things like our product suites, things that we can do. One of the things that I've just released now is an alumni program for Be Inspired. So if you've been on Be Heard or Be Inspired, there's an incubator where I don't do training at that point, because you'll have done all the training with me, but I do facilitation, strategy, accountability for those people to work on their visibility, to work on on forming more of their message, constructing more talks and what have you. So they've got me on side as coach as we build more. So that's been really exciting this week. So we've got, I think, about 6 alumni are joining us. Good morning, Katie. Katie just walked in. She's in the dressing gown looking all snuggly. I'll not show you. I won't embarrass her. I won't embarrass her. But it's been interesting, hasn't it? What time did you finish?
Absolutely incredible. I came to bed about 1 o'clock.
About 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
So did you learn like even more when I'd gone to bed? I imagine you did.
Yeah, it was about investments and how to spread your assets and things like that. So it was kind of like quite technical.
Yeah.
Less about the mindset, but yeah, just
amazing. And that's I think what's been great for all of us is that mixture of mindset plus technical, that mixture of, so what are you telling yourself about money? How do you feel about money? But then also on top of that, what you're going to do with it then. So with this information that you've got about what you believe about money, how you behave around it, what happens when you get it, do you get it? What do you do with it when you do get it then? How do you break patterns, break cycles? And you all know I love a bit of a cycle break. And even just yesterday, and we're only on day 1 of 4 days, there were lots of like light bulb moments, weren't there, Katie? Like loads of like kind of light bulbs pinging off. So it was really cool.
And conversations that were triggered, and it's not always about the money, it's about the feelings that money brings out.
Yeah.
Even if you've done the money work before, there's still so many layers.
Do you hear that? You hear that? So I'm working on myself all the time. And every single time I do something immersive like this, you peel back something else. So you're never a finished product. If I've done lots of healing over the abuse that I've experienced. I've done lots of healing over relationships, lots of healing around my kids, lots of healing around guilt, all of that sort of stuff, around money. But every time you come and do the work, you peel back another layer, you learn something else about yourself. It's like shaking a tub of popcorn, and the big bits of popcorn come to the top. Every now and then you need to give yourself a little shake. Every now and then you need to kind of, how are things? Are you stagnating? And I'd found myself in a little bit of a position whereby I was stagnating from a money perspective. So you all see the business growth, and you'll see the foundation stuff. Look, Wallace has got us our Fly Anyway logo up on the show. We're going to be sort of weaving in more integrally the Fly Anyway Foundation as it grows now. You can see there's a lot of growth that's happening, and sometimes your mindset has got to catch up what you're creating. So now's really timely for me, I think, to be really focusing and doing some of that work. So where are you guys at with all of that sort of stuff? How do you feel about money? I'm interested. I think what I may do on Wise Up Wednesday next week is do a bit of a consolidation of things that I've learned as part of this. Like, what are the specific things for me? What are the light bulb moments for me? Because the interesting thing is, just like many things, you'll have cyclical or patterns of behavior that will manifest in different ways, but actually always come back to the root cause. So for me, one of the things is that I only ever have just enough to get by, and only ever in the moment just enough to get by. So interestingly, no matter how much the business earns, I'll always earn just enough, or I'll always take out just enough to pay my bills, or just enough to do the thing that I need to do in that moment. And then in terms of longevity and in terms of like long-term investments and savings, there's nothing ever really there, because I've never had it. I don't know what to do with it. And even though I've tried to learn about it before, there's still some stripping back of that sort of core belief system. What is getting in my way? What are the chokeholds? So I've been, even just in the last 24 hours, really looking at that and trying to get to grips with it. And it makes a lot of sense. Money can be scary. I only ever have just enough to get by. And I think that's one of my money stories, is that actually I'm good at making money. Money isn't repelled by me. Like, I don't repel money. But it really is only ever just enough. What if I, instead of being a consumer of money, become an owner of money? And it's the beast that I tame, it's the lion that I cage, and not the other way around. And there's still a little bit of that in me that is owned by money. So there's still quite a bit of fear around it. What if the money stops, for example? But if I am taking ownership of money and I am making money work for me, then that will allow it to stop having control over me. And that's been an interesting revelation as I've been processing stuff. Emma, one of my daily things is being thankful for there always being more than enough money. I only have just enough to get by, or when I do build up savings, something happens and wipes them out. Absolutely. So Emma, some of the stuff is same. So some of the stuff that I'm working on now is, what is the missing bit there? I'm always grateful for more money. More money always happens, but why doesn't it stay? Why doesn't it set up camp? Why isn't it making itself comfortable with me, with my family? What do I need to identify within that? So that's been really interesting. I'm always grateful. I always have enough money. Now it's always having more than enough money, so that the cycle that I'm breaking now is the getting rid of that feast and famine kind of mentality. So I know I can make money, great. So how do I create wealth within that? What about the money that I bring in? How can I put that to work more effectively instead of just directly spending something? Which is ironic, because I was telling you how much I really enjoyed going to get a new dress at the New Look. But it isn't about not spending at all. It's about understanding what portion of it do you not just save, but you put to work. So I've got to understand now, how much can I pull back and find and make non-negotiable, and how do I put that money to work, and how do I untangle myself from the need for quick return. And I think that's a lot of people's issues. I think, especially when you've been a non-investment mentality, is that investment isn't a quick return. It's not a direct exchange. You have to allow within investments compound interest, compound growth. And this can translate into things like investing in things like courses and programs and coaching. Some people invest in things like courses and programs and coaching and directly want that. What's my return on my investment going to be? And now if I say to people, you're going to have to hang on for some compound investment return, it's going to be a bit of a switch off, right? So you've got to manage, when you're selling business goods and services, programs, understand that, yes, what are the immediate direct exchanges and returns, but understand, but for the most part, with any kind of learning, it's compound return. It's concentration over a period of time. It's implementation over a period of time. There are so very few quick wins that are in the world. Very few quick wins. When you first start out, there are quick wins because we are lulled into this sense of we don't do any of the things. So when we do some of the things, we can see some quick wins. So like me, for example, implementing a really good business model yielded very quick wins, right? But in terms of a longer scale growth, so IATQB is a multiple six-figure business, right? So we'll probably be breaking our first 500,000 this year. But if you'd have told me that 3 years ago that the business was going to yield 500,000, I would have really been excited. I would have been super duper super super excited, but I would be really frustrated in the moment because there wasn't that 500,000 there. We're only now just edging towards that figure. I needed to do the work over the course of 3 years in order to create that. And one of the things, light bulb moment from yesterday, is that we often overestimate what we can do within 12 months, but underestimate what we can do within 10 years. That was a real light bulb moment, because even though we saw some quick wins, so the first launch that we did was like a 16K launch and all of this sort of stuff. And I have no worries talking about money. The reason why I don't bang on about money and the earnings of IATQB and what I pull out and what I take home is because the margins are really quite small in IATQB. Just because I've got a more comfortable life does not mean that we're rolling around in it. And not because, and that's not oh, I'm still keeping it real. It's that I haven't learned what to fucking do with it yet. I haven't properly learned what to do with it. If you do need help with money mindset, there's a number of people in the Hive that really help with this. So I can highly recommend Tanya Ibbison, the financial wing woman, Rebecca Robertson of Evolution Finance, Claire Sweet is amazing. But you really want to be working with people who are experts. Catherine Morgan is another great person, working specifically around money mindset. So there are people specifically in the community that that's their area of expertise. I just learn better in an immersive environment and give myself space to process and make plans. So I love experiences like this with like Tony and with friends and that sort of stuff. So yeah, this kind of we overestimate what we can create within 12 months. So we will engage in these coaching programs and we will sit there and we'll go, right, well, in 12 months, I'm going to do this massive fucking 6-figure launch, or I'm going to sell out my high ticket one-to-one programs, or I'm going to create this product and it's go to market and every dog and his dick is going to fall over themselves and buy from me. And actually the work that needs to be done is product development, beta testing, market research, marketing. Marketing isn't a fast burner, right? Just because you fart a social media post out into the world saying that you're selling something does not mean automatically that your audience is going to follow themselves to buy from you. So what you're going to need to do, you're going to need to grow your presence, and growing presence, growing anything. Plant a seed you've not got to plant the next day. Plant the seed, watch it every day. You'll see a tiny little bit germination. Then you'll tiny little bit, the shoot pushing through, tiny little bit. And only really 6 months later, you're going to see any kind of bloom, right? And that's only on a relatively fast blooming situation. So if you're thinking about a business, then if you're doing growth work now, understand that you are going to have to put the work in over a period of time, and that period of time often isn't a short period of time. We need to manage our expectations over what we can achieve in a year, and like if we remember that we underestimate what we can achieve in 10 years. That's why now we're 3 years in, I look back and go, fucking hell, that was a lot. Even though in the moment I've gone, is this going to grow? Is this going to be big? Is this, I say to one of my mentors, Lisa Johnson, all the time, and she says to me, hey, Danny, you've got £1 million business, like I can see it. We've got to do the growth work in order to get there. I've got to grow into £1 million business. I've got to grow into a millionaire's mindset. And I do that by surrounding myself with the people that I aspire to be like. So today I'm going for some lunch with some incredible folk who, much in the similar way that when I went to Malta 3 years ago, I was surrounding myself with people that I aspired to be like. I wasn't there yet. The people that are around this table at the lunch I'm going through to today are where I would like to be, or in that growth and raising their game mindset that allows me to kind of keep up, reminds me to keep running. And understanding who you're surrounding yourself with consistently all the time is really necessary in order for you to grow. So I'm asking you that question today. Who are you surrounding yourself with? I'm surrounding myself with incredible people this weekend. We're having a great time. And people that I don't even know very well. So, but they're here because they want to work on that particular aspect of life for them. So that's going to keep me nosing in the right direction. We're not sitting here wanting to hold ourselves back, looking for excuses. We're here solution seeking, identifying what our chokeholds are, but then solution seeking off of the back of it. That's what you need to be doing. Looking at what's holding you back. But then that's not enough. It's not enough just knowing, because then you'll sit and piss and moan about your situation. Oh, well, I know what's holding me back. Okay, so good. What now? What's the next bit? And sometimes that's difficult to see when you're in it and on it. So surrounding yourself with other people that are of that solution-seeking mindset, of that solution-seeking mentality, allow you to, even if they offer up suggestions to you that don't align, at least you can identify within that conversation, no, I don't want to do that. Cool. All right. What do you want to do then? If that's a hard no, what's a fuck yes? And I'd love if you had an opportunity this weekend to hold some space for you this weekend, understand, identify what are your chokeholds in life, what are your chokeholds in business, understand, accept that they are your challenges right now, and appreciate that and understand that that's only right now. And then the next question is, so what the fuck is the next thing? Who do I need to surround myself in order to learn more about that? For example, who or what do I need to do in order to address the solution? How do I see the solution? List out what the possible solutions could be. What's a hell no and what's a fuck yes? Like, I want to know. I want to know. Share it in the hive. If you want to do this as an exercise as a community, we can do this as an exercise as a community. Because this is part of showing up, wising up and rising up. Yeah, what's rising up look like for me? It looks like not hustling. I don't want to hustle. So far I have been, because that's just where I found myself. I find it not difficult. I wouldn't say easy. I find it not difficult to make money, but hustling all the time means I work longer hours than I want to. It means I'm more tired than I want to be and all of this sort of stuff. So I want to work on that. That's my idea of rising up. More time to take, having experiences with my family and my friends, doing things like this, more time. It looks like more money in the bank to expand on those experiences and heighten those experiences, and having more money to be able to give back and to invest and grow the Flying Away Foundation. They're the three things that I really want to do. Okay, so what do I need to know in order to get there? And this is the wising up section of showing up, wising up and rising up, right? We've got to learn what we need to know in order to get there. I've learned what I need to know in order to get where I am now, and where I am now still needs some work. So what else do I need to know? And what I need to know is how to make money work for me. What I need to know about myself is it's okay for me to receive and hold, not receive and throw away directly, or receive and directly recycle, right? Or give, or whatever it is. It's okay for me to have, not just receive. So understanding what that means. It means making sure that I learn as much as I can about the domestic abuse facilities here in the UK, so that we can invest the money that we've raised really wisely, so that the money that we've raised gets put to work, right? So that the Flying Away Foundation becomes a wealthy, eventually a charity, so that we can help more people with all the money that we do, with all the fundraising that we do, right? So they're the things that I'm working on. Then there's showing up. Showing up is taking the motherfucking action. Showing up is actually showing the fuck up, doing this, like having these conversations, but then having words with financial advisors. Katie last night actually set up on her phone, and one of the things that they were talking about is what percentage of your residual income can you invest, and it could be 50p and it could be 50,000, whatever it is. And Katie sat there last night, is in a position, I've got a little bit more work to do on this before I do the automations, but she had the system set up where she was like, right, well, I'm just going to automate a direct debit into this investment pot, and sat there and did it, took the motherfucking action in the moment as she was thinking about it. Otherwise it's going to get put off. Yeah, you're feeling fired up. Yeah. So but that is like live and in action what she needed to do. So we were looking at investments, and investments was the rising up situation, putting the money to work. the wising up was, okay, what do we need to do? Okay, we need to automate, we need to identify, and then we need to take some action. We need to set up those direct debits and choose the destination for that money so that it can be put to work. Kate, it was like a live version. I'm like watching her and, oh, she's like, I've done it. I was like, oh, fuck. What do I need to do? Actually, what I need to do is understand the fires that I need to fight in the immediate, and once those fires are fought, to stop fighting the fires, to start, instead of reacting, start to respond, start to anticipate. And they're all the things that I'm doing the work on this weekend so that I can take that action. So question for you as we move on into the weekend is, what are the chokeholds and what are the solutions? Is it to learn from someone? Is it to invest? Is it to do those things? And if you are going to invest, stop putting a gun to your head and thinking that it's got to yield immediate return on investments. Return on investments only happen when you have given those investments chance to grow and you have implemented action alongside it. So there you go. There's my words of wisdom for you this Friday. I hope you have an absolutely bonny one. Let me know what you're getting up to over in the Hive. If you don't already, if you're not already part of the IATQB community on here on Facebook, search IATQB Hive. It stands for I am the Queen Bee, as are you, or the King Bee, or the Royal Bee, or however you fucking identify. You are most welcome in my community. You can go and follow me on Instagram at the Queen Bee Danny. I'll be sharing some stories over the course of the next few days with insights of what I'm going to be getting up to. You're amazing. So am I. So is this lot here. Have a good one, and I'll see you on Monday for more Showing Up, Wising Up and Rising Up. Take care.